of
It's
thing.
like a beauty day for your knife.
Nice. Welcome back to the workshop, guys. Today we're talking about the Pro PA, and not only just how to use it, but how to get the most out of it. This is going to be a tips and tricks episode, and we thought who better to talk about the Pro PA than the pro himself. Kyle Taylor, former professional sharpener, joins us. Kyle, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to seeing what you've learned with this thing and how to get the most out of it.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it.
All right, let's do it. Kyle, you were saying that you approach sharpening knives with the Pro PA a little bit differently. You're not just in there trying to get a sharp knife. You're there to like take care of your knives.
It's spa day with my knife. Yeah, so I start out with some great lighting, make sure I can see what I'm working on. I like to see what's going on with the bevels. Are my grinds looking good? Or am I even getting all the way through and creating a fully fresh new bevel? I'm gonna need some ample lighting to get that done.
Yeah, because you kind of want to get in there and like see if you're getting an even reveal, where you're hitting. Are you even getting to the edge? It can be kind of hard to see without good light.
Exactly. So from there, having some kind of Torx bit driver handy if you want to take off the thumb lugs or disassemble the whole knife and just clamp just the blade on there. Great to have a Torx bit with you. The oil, being able to put some fresh little bit of oil on the washers or anywhere else in the knife that you feel like needs a fresh little bit of oil.
You are taking care of your knives there, man.
It's important. And then yeah, just some fresh Loctite. Got to get new Loctite on the screws. Okay. But as you're going through and you're grinding and removing material, there's going to be all kinds of debris. So having some kind of brush handy.
Okay.
It's going to be important.
Is that boar's hair?
Well, yes, it is.
Oh, he's fancy.
So then also it's important to make notes as we go. So having some kind of a notebook to be able to write down what angles you're sharpening your knives at, because depending on what you're working with, this might have a different angle than what this is gonna have. Okay. So noting that down and being able to refer to that and go back, and rather than restart at the coarsest grit, we can just go back a few.
So you're not having to do like a full reprofile every time. You can just jump back in, or if you just want to touch it up, you know what angle you were at before.
And there's no guesswork then as to like what angle you just left off on that knife. So yeah, these are some great essentials to keep in mind when you go to set up for sharpening in your spa day.
Right on, man. So you got yourself set up, you're ready to start sharpening a knife. How do you get started with the machine? What are some tips and tricks you found as you're sharpening that you want to share?
Yeah, so making sure that in general you have it clamped in there and just making sure that you're not canting this one way or another, but it's truly straight on there. Okay. And that you can check. And I usually refer to like a logo right here or something and make sure that
so you're getting down to like if you've got the spider or like the Benchmade, like a number or something, you're trying to like clamp right on that.
Refer to some kind of logo that was intentionally lasered on there to be level, and use that as kind of a guide. That or just evaluate the knife in general. Just look for, is it looking like that's actually is
parallel,
that actually
like the clamp's parallel with the edge of the knife?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good idea. You could write that down too in your notes as far as like where you're clamping. Okay.
You can put that in your minders on the first page.
Right on. Next question I want to get into, and this is the one that we've made a couple of videos on because no one can seem to agree on it. Does direction matter with this system as far as do you push, do you pull, what do you do?
Yeah, so I kind of found that in the beginning, just moving material is key. So I start out with the swirls, going through and just doing the swirly approach. And I just find that that's because I can move really quick that way, and I can just move metal. And so that's when
you're not even sawing, you're like wax on, wax off.
Mr. Miyagi.
Wax on, wax off.
I'm just trying to move metal and get that first curl. But I did find that going back and choosing one direction to go and clean it all out and like clean it all up was ideal.
So you're progressing from like, I'm just getting metal off, I'm getting my edge set. Once that's done, now I'm gonna start doing a direction. Which direction did you land on?
I did one long sweep. Long pull.
Pull and sweep, okay.
Pull, sweep,
all right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let him have it in the comments if you think he's going the wrong. Should he be pushing? What about the swirl? That's new. We didn't even try that in the old videos. Maybe we'll have to make a video about that too.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
In an effort to avoid the thumb lugs without taking them off, I found that covering the end of this while I was sharpening, so just putting a finger stopper there kept me from going beyond. And it was kind of nice to just get in that spot and just stay right there.
Your finger being on the end helped you not get close enough to hit that thumb stand.
Yeah, it kind of stopped me
on that particular knife. I wonder if that would work for all knives. That's cool.
It helped me because I was lazy and didn't want to remove the thumb lugs.
Fair enough.
So one issue I was running into was I kept on taking a little bit of a heavy hand in my pulls, and as a result, I was getting deep grinds on the reveal, which was frustrating for me. So I had to go back over it and make sure that I was staying light in my pressure and I was letting the abrasive do the work rather than me trying to muscle it and force it to create that. So I had better results when I kept a pretty light wrist and just made sure to just pull back and forth and let the abrasive
almost like
do
the
work.
weight of the abrasive.
Yes.
Versus like pushing down on it.
I found you'll get a cleaner reveal if you just let the abrasive do the work and you don't try and muscle it, because you'll press harder here than you might towards the front, and then all of a sudden you have deeper grinds in random places and you'll have to go back and go through the process again if you want to clean up that edge.
So light hand works out pretty good.
Yeah.
Take me through your grip progression. So you at 220, you're doing your swirl, you're knocking off the shoulders, you're getting a new edge put on that knife. Are you spending a little bit more time on any particular abrasive as you work your way through?
Yeah, once I get down to the 600 and 800, I spent a little more time to try and clean that up, because those are my last few to be able to leave that final finish, the final finished reveal.
Getting into like the medium abrasives at that point. You're not getting any deep gouges anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what's gonna determine how it's just gonna, the final product's gonna look.
Okay.
So I spent a little more time on those last few and tried to just clean it up, make it a nice polish.
Is that to get the knife sharp, or are you trying to get a nice surface finish in that?
For me, I was just trying to get a nice finish, make it look pretty, as pretty as I could. But I think that as long as you go through and you just clean up that edge in general, if you're happy with it and it's cutting, it really comes down to the buffing aspect, just buffing off that burr.
I think that's what's funny about this system. Even on the previous version, the original Precision Adjust, people found that it wasn't enough anymore just to get a sharp knife. It became this thing of like, I don't want it. I know it's going to be sharp when I'm done. Now I want it to be like a mere polished edge, or I want to get a nice looking edge. So it's just a funny thing how people quickly go from like, oh, it's not hard to get a knife sharp anymore.
Yeah.
I want more. I want a mere polish edge on my knife now.
Yeah. This makes getting that ideal edge easy. So you have to find some kind of other way to make it a challenge as you go through. Yep. I want to see myself in that edge.
Exactly, man. So were there any knives that were kind of unique or out of the ordinary that you were going to try to sharpen with this that you had some success with?
Yeah, I was curious about single beveled edges. So I pulled one of a Benchmade knife company dive knife.
Nice.
It's just got a single bevel on the one side, it's flat on the back. So I tossed that in. I was just curious what it would be like to clamp something up.
Yeah, because it doesn't even have a full spine on it. That's the first thing I was curious about on that one.
Yeah, so I tried to get it as close up in the center as I could to where when I do go to lay down the abrasive rod, that it was just touching just right there on the bevel. And I didn't have to go beyond that because I'm only working on half this edge, but it sharpened just fine. It didn't give me any issues in general. It was at a very steep angle. It's not like we're going to be flipping it back and forth when we go to work through the abrasives or to buff it.
So you just work the one side, work through your progression on the one side the whole time. And I imagine it left you a pretty big burr on the back side.
Yeah, that was the challenge, was there was a pretty mean burr on there that I wanted to make sure to clean up nicely.
So how'd you do that? How'd you get rid of it?
Yeah, so I went through and I worked through down to the leather, cleaned that edge up. I unclamped it, and then I just I held this flat and just went from this side, and I just tried to keep that as flat as I could, and just with the nice lighting could check to see if I'm actually getting that off completely. But yeah, it was no issue at all. It gave me a really great edge, really clean looking reveal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even sure we could do single bevel. That looks great.
Yeah.
And then you can also, for those of you that don't know already, they've got the serration, this rod here, can get in and get those serrations if you want to touch them up.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Are there any other knives that you sharpen on the system? Any like mirror polish bevels or anything unique that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I worked at this 20 CV, just the limited bug out that we have.
Yep.
And I sharpened through it a few times, and So removed more material than I probably had to, but I also...
What angle did you put on that? It looks like a big old reveal on that
It's
thing.
a little under 14 degrees.
Wow. Okay.
To each side. But yeah, I wanted to see what kind of reveal it would bring. And there's still room to polish it up a bit, but I was pretty pleased with what I had in this set.
Yeah.
What reveal I could get.
Yep.
It's not quite perfect, but it's great for the value of the sharpener and everything that you get. You still get a really clean edge. And that's something that you can continue to work at. You know, something that you can challenge yourself with is, can I get it cleaner than this pro sharpener did on his 20 CV blade? There's definitely opportunity with that. You can work with the, we talked about putting a little dab of water on the ceramic, seeing if that can polish it up any better.
Okay.
All kinds of experiments to do with that. And but I was happy with how it turned out. We can also talk about Tantos, if you have one handy.
Yeah, that's a unique shape. We get questions about that one quite a bit on all our systems, but how would you approach the Tanto?
The professional precision adjust is actually great for Tantos. When it comes to using a machine, it can be really challenging to mess up how the bevels line up and where those two points meet.
That transition point there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you want to keep that looking clean. You don't want to make it look...
No, you don't want to end up with a rounded off Tanto that's slowly becoming a...
Exactly.
having a belly on it.
And I found that the precision adjust it's a great way to make sure that you're careful where you don't roll over that joint right there, and that you can make a clean pass and just stop exactly where you want to stop, and then just transition to this other edge and take your time there. And you don't it depends on the Tanto that you're working with. Some of them, like this, is kind of a slight recurve in
coming into
and
it,
then pulls up. There's some that's more of a rounded belly up.
Yep.
So be a little cautious in how you approach it. If you do need to adjust the way that it's clamped a little bit to be able to get that clean edge and not reprofile the blade, do what you got to do. But this is a great option so that you keep that Tanto consistent.
And the main thing that you're looking for there is you're just trying to stop right at that transition and not go past it, right? So you're treating it like two separate blades.
Yeah, it's just like two different blades that happen to meet together on the same knife.
And that'll keep your transition clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just want to keep that looking clean and fresh. You like a nice Tanto that does still stay true and lines up.
There.
Exactly.
Right on. So yeah, as to wrap this thing up and kind of get some general concepts, it sounds like get yourself set up. Like I like how you guys said it before, like it's spa day for your knife. This isn't just we're just gonna jump in and sharpen one knife. Get in, do some maintenance, get set up, get good lighting, get your tools out that you're gonna wanna use, maybe have a few knives you wanna sharpen.
Boar's hair.
Get your boar's hair brush. And take care of these knives. Take this to the next level. It's not, you're gonna get a sharp knife with this thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is about taking it to the next level of sharp or next level of like maintenance for your knives, right?
Sharp is guaranteed, but what more are you gonna do with your professional precision adjust?
Thanks so much for sharing these tips. It's been great. Hope you guys learned something. I know I did. Kyle, you're the man. Thanks for sharing your gospel, your wisdom with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, for sure.